Well, that's it. It's over. The Stan Drayton era is over at Temple on Sunday afternoon or Sunday morning. Temple announced that its football coach would be released of his duties in just under 3 seasons. What's going on, everyone? Hayden Van Zel here on the Band and Lamb podcast. And did it have to be done? Definitely not now. Did he know it was over? Maybe. We'll get into that later in the show. And also, just where's the future of this program going is what we're going to dive into today. But let's just start with the obvious and what Drayton did for this program or what he didn't do for the program, right? Back-to-back 3-9 seasons in his first 2 years on North Broad. And then this year gets that third win, second conference win, the first time he's ever done that in his tenure here. Then he gets fired with a 3-7 record, so 9-25 overall in just under 3 full seasons at the helm of the Owls. And you look at it, full picture. Drayton, we know why he was here. Arthur Johnson. Why is Arthur Johnson here? Because he came from Texas, and he was elected to be the new athletic director at Temple. And now there's probably going to be a lot of questions surrounding him. I want to hear from Arthur Johnson, too. I want to listen. If he's listening, I want to talk to him. I want to see what he has to say. What was his input? Did he have any say in Stan Drayton? Or I think this is what my opinion is. I think it's the new president at Temple University. David Fry comes in. It's November 18th. He came in November 1st. Less than 2 weeks later, after the first home game that he took over as president of the university, not sure if he was there or not, but his first game at home, maybe you see as, all right, there's no one here. What's going on? Even though the team wins, which is why I think it was also scripted. I think Drayton already knew that he was gone, right? After the game, as he does with every game, he goes to his post-game press conference, and this time he had a little special guest with him. He brought up his teenage daughter that was there right next to him on the podium, something he has never done before, which is already a little weird and head-scratching. And then this is what he had to say opening up his post-game press conference after the win against Florida Atlantic.
I'm so proud of my guys, and this guy's been under pressure a lot during the course of the season. Haven't played well in spots, and when you're going through some adversity, your locker room gets challenged, your football program gets challenged, and there's a lot of truth that comes out of that. People start to expose themselves, and you hear things, and you can choose to pay attention to all of that. And I'm just so proud of these guys for just staying the course, staying focused on each other, coming to work every day with the right mindset, right belief. And it's just not common when you got this new generation of kids where instant gratification is a real thing. But our players have learned to really endure the hardness. And we found a way to get a win, right? And these are life lessons that we'll take with us as a football program as we move toward UTSA. But I know what we've been enduring as a football program is a life lesson that these kids will take with them for the rest of their lives. And again, so very proud of them to have some success today, but we just got to, be able to celebrate it real quick and flush it. We got a really good UTSA team to prepare for, and I'm excited about it.
So he says that, and he's already sounding a little emotional, like he knows it's happening. So Everett Withers spoke today to the media. He really gave no indication. I mean, I didn't expect him to say much as coaches talk. Like, what is he going to know about what Stan Drayton did or did not know? Withers said that he found out on Sunday morning, which is when it was released, when he was on a tour with a recruit, and he was just asked to come to his office, came to his office, found out the news. So I don't know. It's all a little weird. Did it make sense for Temple to do it now in the middle of the season with 2 games left? I guess I don't think it really does anything in terms of the head coaching process. Like if you're gonna find someone, what is 2 weeks gonna do? I don't think anything. And I think now you really have a real decision to make, right? Because you have to invest in this football program if you want it to win. And we know that if you invest in it, it is going to be huge, not just for the program, but for the entire university, right? We see where when football teams do good, it wants people to come to the games. It wants people to come to the university. That's why Temple's numbers, when we look at the admission rate, it's down. When we look at people just applying to the school, it's down. They want to go to a school where there's a good winning football team where people actually care about it. And right now that's just not the case. So Temple has to invest in their football program if they want to keep it going. And if they don't want to invest in it, then kick it to the curb. And that's going to cause a whole other issues. But you have to invest in this program. You have to, especially with NIL nowadays. There is no way around it. You have to invest. It's like free agency. Every single year, you have to pay for these players. They're making business moves themselves. You have to pay for them. It is what it is. That's the state of college sports that we're in, especially in college football. And I honestly, I haven't even looked into seeing who the new head coach could be. I see there's some reports out there, or just suggestions that people are making, but you're going to need someone that is invested himself, right? Because he has to know what he's walking into. Losing program that just has not seen really any success over the last 5+ years. And he's going to have to really push for NIL too, because that was something that Drayton kind of referenced at one of his last weeks as a head coach, was that there is no NIL investment here. And he's losing recruits because of it, not just to bigger schools, not just to schools within the conference, but also to even lower ranked schools, these smaller schools that are getting it over Temple, like Mountain West schools and stuff like that. So that's where it stands. You're gonna have to find a coach that knows what he's walking into, because this is not an attractive job whatsoever, right? Why would you want to leave wherever it is you are, where you might not be making as much as well? You're gonna have to get someone that is dedicated to the program, that knows what they're walking into. And look, I did cover every single home game that Drayton was at him. And just like, this is my first time, right, as like a college student reporter, really seeing someone enter and come in as a head coach and all the optimism that comes with it, and now see him leave and get fired with all the negativity surrounding it. And just with my personal relationship with Drayton, I mean, never really talked to him outside of the press conferences and stuff that he would be at, but he was always a great guy. And you really could tell it too, because the players, you see them reacting on social media, almost every single one of them, saying how much they love and care about Stan Drayton, because he made personal relationships with his players. He really did care about every single one of them and got to know them on somewhat of a personal level, obviously more than others when you have 100+ guys and some that are coming in just 2 months before the season starts. But the outcry that we saw by the players on social media definitely speaks to the man that Stan Drayton was. And although he wasn't the best football coach, he really was a good person and always answered every question with fairness. And it just sucks, right? Sometimes you're not good at a certain job. A great running back coach for the majority of his career, but then comes to Temple, they're bottom 10 in the FBS in the running department every single year. So just he couldn't handle the full task of getting wins, and a lot of it, of course, is with NIL, because he just simply did not have the talent. But where does Temple go next? I think that is a huge question that the university is going to have to answer, that John Fry is going to have to answer, that maybe Arthur Johnson has to answer if he is still even here at the end of it. Is Johnson going to be involved in this head coaching search? Because he is the reason. He's the one that got Drayton here. He pulled him here. Who does he pull next? Is it a Temple tie? who knows? Everything is going to, I think, has to be on the table for the Owls and the future of this program, because you're going to have guys that are going to leave too. You're going to have guys that are going to leave the university and the football program because they don't want to be in this brand new development era with a new coaching staff and all the other extracurriculars that come with it. So a lot of answers are going to have to be answered. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in and watching this edition of the Band and Lamb podcast. I'm Hayden Vandell. Temple gets rid of Stan Drayton after their win against Florida Atlantic. 2 games left in the season as Everett Withers takes over as the interim head coach for the final 2 weeks of the season. Have a great week, everyone, and we'll see you next week.